eBay for Change, a new place where everyday purchases are helping to change communities. Like buying from the Good Wash, whose soapy stuff allows you to look good and feel good.
Every time you buy a Good Wash product, you help improve lives of animals and people in the local communities.
From coffee beans to bibs, socks to hats, see the change with your next purchase.
Welcome, and it is a delight to introduce you all to the second edition of our Selling Social event. We are testing our technology to see if we can do more of these broadcasts. My name is Ahmed Alagam, I'm from UnLtd, and I'm going to be your host for today. What is Selling Social? Examples of what our social entrepreneurs are going through, hearing from our partners. That's what we have in store for you today. I'm going to be delighted over the next hour to be the host, and what I have for you in stock is, for those who haven't heard of UnLtd, let me just give you a bit of a brief. UnLtd is the foundation for social entrepreneurs. We support people from all backgrounds to change our society for the better through sustainable, purposeful business in local communities and across the UK. Social entrepreneurs offer some of the best solutions to loneliness, barriers to employment, and our nation's long-term economic, social and cultural health. To help them succeed, UnLtd provides funding. We do that through grants and investment. We do wraparound business support from our one-to-one advisors, and we also give them access to professional and peer support networks. Since we were founded, we have learned a lot about what it is needed for social entrepreneurs to create the change they want to see. We have grown our support beyond our core awards, helping to accelerate the impact of social ventures. We have identified areas where we all are well placed to create change and focused our efforts where it can make the biggest difference. We have identified barriers faced by social entrepreneurs and look to tackle them through research, policy work, and our campaigns. We know that we can't do it alone, seeking committed partners and funders who share our vision. With new technologies emerging and the COVID-19 pandemic making a lasting change to shopping habits, social enterprises need to adapt to online sales to grow their ventures. We have partnered for that. We have partnered with eBay on our new support offer, Selling Social, responding to help social entrepreneurs with these evolving challenges. And we are here today to tell you all about it. I'll be joined by Chris Gale, Head of Social Impact from eBay, who will share more about the wider eBay for Change program, an initiative to help consumers discover more purpose-led businesses. We will also be joined by two social entrepreneurs who have been part of our wider pilot to share their stories and who are already using e-commerce to grow their impact. I'll also be joined by my colleague Laura Marnie from UnLtd. She will join us at the end to tell everyone about the Selling Social dedicated support offer and how you can apply for an UnLtd award. Please make sure you use the live chat to comment, ask questions. We will have time at the end to answer any questions. Although the team from UnLtd will be monitoring the chat to make sure we answer as many questions as possible. I do know that because of the number of questions we get, we might not be able to get through all of them in the Q&A at the end. So without further ado, it's time to meet the panel, and I will be welcoming Chris. Welcome, Chris.
Hi, Ahmed. Thanks very much for having us.
Welcome. Chris, would you mind introducing yourself and please tell us about how eBay for Change was formed? I'll give you a few minutes for that, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure. So, hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. So I'm Chris. I head up our social impact work at eBay. Have been with eBay now for just over a year. And before that, I was at Ben & Jerry's for 5 years, doing similar stuff, but mainly focused on refugee and asylum rights. So eBay's got this big purpose and it's a very big purpose of economic opportunity for all. And over the last year, we've really been drilling down, like, what does that mean for us in the UK? And to sort of cut a long story short, really that for us is around how do we support economic opportunity for marginalized communities. So this focus on marginalization, using our business to take action, so actually to do things, but also to be an advocate for change. So using our voice and our reach into policymakers and the like to talk about the need for change, and then rooting that work in the need for a more inclusive, equitable and regenerative economy. Let's be honest, that could be quite a few businesses that would have a similar focus to their work. And so then really it's what's our route into that, and the route for us is really about how do we support those business models that are inclusive by design. And so social enterprises, worker-owned co-ops, fair trade businesses was just the natural focus for us. So those businesses that focus on people and planet at the heart of why they exist. So that was our starting point, and really is the sort of lens in which we're focusing on this work. And we want this work to be proactive over a much longer period than eBay has been, I would say, in the past, where we've maybe been a bit more reactive and reliant on the fact that we have this platform that that enables anyone to sort of buy and sell at the drop of a hat. So this is really the start of that. So we launched back in May. We launched eBay for Change, and eBay for Change is at the heart of that goal and that purpose that I talked about. And eBay for Change has basically got two sides to it. One side is a partnership with SE UK and the World Fair Trade Organization to bring their members onto the eBay platform, support them with a dedicated training program to help them navigate what eBay can sometimes be a bit of a challenge to navigate. So to get people up and running and working out how to use it effectively, alongside zero fees for 12 months and some other support that we can sort of built into how we run the platform, and then supporting that with a significant marketing investment. So we've got and it's live now. We've just brought on our next 50. We started with 50 social enterprises, and then we brought on another 50, or about to bring on another 50 to the eBay for Change hub. So if you go to ebay.co.uk/eBay for Change, you can see the businesses that we're working with, and the hope is really to just continue to grow that. We've got 29 million buyers that come through eBay every month, so it's a big buyer base, as well as like we sort of know small business. We've got 330,000 small businesses that already trade on eBay in the UK, and so the whole point of that work is how do we mainstream social enterprise and get social enterprises speaking to those 29 million buyers, and we know it's sometimes difficult to stand out within eBay, and so that's the point of the hub and dedicated marketing investment to try and drive consumers to the hub, but also to educate consumers on. We've done some work. The concept of social enterprise still isn't fully understood. I know there's lots of research out there that says that it is, but we're still sort of navigating that, and how do we communicate about it in the most effective way. So that's one side of the program, and the other side is everything we're doing here with UnLtd and the Selling Social program, which when we started it, the idea was that we would work with earlier stage social entrepreneurs that are sort of exploring what e-commerce means for them, what impact it might have on your impact model, all of those sorts of things. And in theory, that some of the social entrepreneurs working through Selling Social would sort of, I say in inverted commas, graduate through to the eBay for Change hub, but would access that support that's available on the eBay for Change hub and the technical training on that side around how to utilize eBay. So that's sort of how we started out, and really pleased that we've grown from 50 to 100 on eBay for Change. Really pleased with how Selling Social is going, and just the relationship with UnLtd is so positive. Yeah, looking forward to the questions. Hopefully that's a decent intro, or at least the start of an intro into what we're doing.
No, that's definitely fantastic to hear, because I think what you've done there, Chris, is that you've given us a little bit of the background, the motivations for why you're doing the program, and you also told us a little bit about some of the successes, early sign successes around how many people are already engaged, and the fantastic opportunity, the market size that you talked about there in terms of how many people do actually come to the platform. I think that's fantastic, and I do encourage all our audience to engage with the chat. Send in their questions, and hopefully we are going to pick it up. Chris, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to introduce Sue as well. So up next will be Sue Brisk, founder of Promise in Store. Please tell us, hi Sue, how are you?
Hi, thank you. Can you hear me?
It's a delight to have you here today. I know
Thank
that your
you.
journey has been fantastic this morning. So what I'd like you to do, if you don't mind, Chris, is just tell us a bit more about you and how and why you started Promise in Store. Give you a few minutes for that, if that's okay, Sue?
Yes, of course. Thank you. So I started Promise in Store 3 years ago. We launched 3 years ago, and it is a retail social enterprise that sources and sells things that have been made, created, designed, or produced by people with learning difficulties, special needs, or life challenges. So the why, it was because I have 3 children, and my son, who's 25, has Down syndrome. And I realized when he got to adulthood that the pathways to employment for people with disabilities aren't necessarily straightforward. And having worked with our local council as a parent voice, I realized that I probably needed to be part of a solution rather than be part of a problem. So that's why I launched Promise in Store. So the idea was always a pure play to source things made by people with life challenges or learning disabilities, and to create paid employment for people with learning difficulties or disabilities. So I spent a couple of years going around the country to find colleges, charities, to see what's out there in terms of products. Realize there's some amazing, incredible, inspiring people out there who can create things. And then I launched it was 3 years ago. So I started with pop-ups, and that was the idea. And then when I did about 4 or 5 pop-ups, people were saying, well, how can I get hold, if I want another one of these, or if I want to send one to somebody, how can I get hold of that? So I'd never intended to have a website, but I thought it looks like people want a website. So I created a website, and that was really just as a kind of holding place for people just to reorder what they wanted. But it was never meant to be the main thing. The main thing was always meant to be a shop, a physical presence where people could come and work. Obviously, COVID happened, and that just changed everything. And I realized that actually my website was the shop, and that was it. So we realized also that over the lockdown period, people weren't necessarily just buying for themselves. I mean, they were, but they were also sending gifts and packages to people. So the whole shift of customer changed from people buying for themselves to people sending gifts. So that was a real insight over lockdown. So this program came just at the right time for us, because we realized that our shop was our website. And I don't know whether you're coming on to that later, or whether I've got a
couple of questions for you, but I think it's really important to give that context, Sue. And I think it's also the kind of, we've asked about the how and the why you're doing it. And I think really at this stage, it's just good to give people the understanding of why you've done it. But I will be coming back with a couple more questions just as we go on. But yeah, can I bring in Jem on next, and then we can certainly do a bit more sort of delve into a bit more of the questions. Is that all right, Sue? Jem, how you doing?
Of course.
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, and I'm delighted to have you with us here today. Jem, so what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to give you an opportunity to tell us the sort of about yourself and your enterprise and why it all started. Give you a couple of minutes for that, and then I've got another question for you straight after that. So should we get going?
Sure. Yeah. So in terms of the bike project, when I was a student, I joined a befriending scheme for unaccompanied asylum seekers in London. And as an asylum seeker, you get just £37 a week to live off, and you're not allowed to work. And that limbo can last several years. And one of the big challenges asylum seekers face is actually just getting from A to B. Public transport in London alone is very expensive. A bus pass by itself costs £21 per week. So a bike is a free, sustainable means to get there. And when I was part of this scheme, I met this boy called Adam, who was an asylum seeker from Darfur. And one of the first things I did was get him a bike, because that helped him get around. It helped him access education, healthcare, psychological support, and other essential resources and services. And when I graduated, I started the Bike Project in my spare time, and then we launched in March 2013 as an independent charity. And I've been full-time on it ever since. And our core mission is simple: to get refugees cycling. We do that in 3 ways. The core way is providing a bike. So we collect old bikes, do them up, and donate them to refugees and asylum seekers. We are based in London and Birmingham, so in both areas. We also run a scheme called Bike Buddies, where we match refugees with volunteers to go on rides together, and a scheme called Pedal Power, where we train female refugees to cycle who have never cycled before. In our experience, many of the women that come to us come from countries where it's not socially acceptable for women to cycle, so we run a scheme to teach them from scratch.
That's brilliant. Thank you, Jim. I'm going to ask you a question around e-commerce, which is, so when did you realise that e-commerce was going to be a viable income stream? And I'm going to also ask you about challenges, but let's start with, when did you realise, and then we'll talk about challenges, Jim.
So we collect secondhand bikes and donate them. And we, to put it bluntly, we started getting some very nice bikes. And one of the challenges with donating very nice bikes is asylum seekers often don't have a secure place to store them. So they were just going to get stolen. And we also clocked, well, if we sold these bikes, we could raise more money and donate more bikes. So we started selling the bikes, some of the better quality bikes, particularly vintage bikes, through eBay initially. And then we've always sold through eBay, but we also set up a website alongside that. We raised some social investment to get going. And now we have a Shopify store, which is an e-commerce platform that also syncs with our eBay store. So we sell bikes through both. And we've expanded to offer other options, other products through our website. So we offer bike servicing, we offer a range of accessories, and also a range of merchandise. So Bike Project jackets, etc. So that's when we really realized, and it's been a real growth for us. We started selling, I think, in 2015. In our first year, I think we did about 20k of sales. And this year, well, we're a bit behind target, but I still like to say our sales will be in the region of about 750 grand. So it's been a real growth trajectory for us, and there was huge opportunities for that over the years. And most of that growth has been driven through e-commerce.
Excellent. And what would you say the main challenges or on that kind of journey?
So there are some challenges specific to our product. We sell bikes and we ship bikes to anywhere in the country. Bikes are big and bulky and get bashed around in transport. So that's quite challenging to manage. I think even pre-COVID, managing your supply chain is quite complicated, and making sure you've got the right number of products at the right time. But I'd say the biggest challenge over the years has been basically just making sure the website is really, really good and really, really effective. When you go on a website and buy something, as I'm sure everybody has done, you may not think about all the steps that go into making that a seamless experience for a customer, and how easy it is to add something in or have a different feature that makes it harder and makes it a less pleasant experience for the customer. So actually, the work that goes into that, it's called UX development, user experience development, is a huge amount of work and expertise, and it's quite easy to get off track. So I'd say over the years, keeping the UX in a really, really good state has been the biggest challenge, alongside, supply chain issues around secondhand bikes, which are not entirely unique to us. I think a lot of entrepreneurs sell unique products, but it's definitely a challenge.
Thanks, John. Sue, I saw you nodding pretty much for most of these, although you are different in terms of the kind of the products you sell, but you were nodding quite a lot in terms of the challenges and some of the experiences. I've got another question for you, which is more around the pilot. But what I'll do is, shall I give you a couple of minutes just to really tell me a bit more about the challenges you faced when you sort of moved online and e-commerce?
Yeah, so it was really just meant to be a kind of a holding place for people to reorder, and I didn't really think of it as the main place. And I think when COVID happened and we couldn't do pop-ups and we couldn't get out to tell our story and tell the stories behind our products, we realized that the website was it. And so the pilot was just so timely. Do you want me to tell you about the pilot? Is that?
Yeah. I mean, I just wanted sort of, to seamlessly sort of flow into that, which is, both you and Jem has been part of the Selling Social support offer. Just wanted to tell us a bit about your experience of it, what help you got, and what was their impact in terms of growth around your online sales, and in terms of your social impact. It's really important for us to understand that, we want our entrepreneurs to grow their online sales, but also ultimately we want to understand the impact and social impact.
Yeah, so
impact and social impact. It sounds like a big word, but I'm sure you'll work it out.
So I started on the program, and I think I was on some Zoom explaining to some of the mentors that I felt like I had woken up in Russia and I didn't know how to speak Russian. That was the only way I described the whole e-commerce, because my background is in training and development, so I much prefer being in front of people, and technology isn't necessarily my strength. So I have a website designer, and actually being matched with a mentor and having an unlimited mentor was great, because I just asked so many questions, and it was just, for me, the experience was having somebody with fresh eyes look at the website, to look at the user journey, and to really ask the question, are you telling your story through your website? Because I think when you're selling social, there's two parts. There's what you're selling, but there's also the story behind it. And to have fresh eyes on that was fantastic. So my mentor was brilliant. We had a few Zooms and then an actual meetup. Always set some homework for me to do, which was great. And then eBay had a volunteering day. So I set a team of people a challenge again to start at the beginning of the website, as if they're a customer, and go through the whole journey and look through every interaction they have. I've got somebody who I'm working with now who deals in communications, and he was saying often when you're the founder of something, you have like the curse of knowledge. You've got it all and you know the whole history of it, but what you have to do is try and tell your story through your website, as well as what you're selling. So that actually, the timing of it was perfect to take a step back and to re-examine what my e-commerce shop front looked like. It's still a work in progress. I've realized a lot of actions that have come out of it, but at the end of this, so I kind of I took the whole 4 months to decide what my strategy was. And that was really helpful for me, because I didn't want to launch into something, and I was at the point where I didn't know what I didn't know. So the whole 4 months was a whole learning, and having the little cohort meetings was great, because you had people who are going through e-commerce who are a bit further on than you, who would say, oh, I know what to do, I can talk to you, and then I'd have separate calls with them. So that whole cohort experience was brilliant and helpful as well. But yes, I finally got a strategy and put in for a grant, and I'm just working my way through the action points on that.
It's brilliant. Thanks for that, Sue. And I think you've really highlighted there the fact that, the support is tailored around you, and it's not about, the strategy is right when you feel it's right and when it's right. And you've, from what I'm hearing here, it seems you really capitalized on all the elements of the support, from the mentor, the external mentor, the internal mentor, your peers, the support from eBay. And I think that's really a good sign of an entrepreneur there who've really capitalized on the offer. Top marks for that, Sue, because some people might not necessarily take on the opportunity. And the level of honesty that you came into this conversation, not knowing anything, and kind of admitting that and embracing that has been certainly well recognised across the team that have been working with you. So, we wanted to share your story because we think you did brilliant in terms of the journey that you've taken, and we want to encourage more people to see this offer with that lens. So thanks for that, Sue. Jem, I'm going to come back to you with a similar question as well around, the kind of your experience. But I just want to remind everybody that if anybody who's watching has got any questions, please do send them in the chat so that we can look at them at the Q&A, and I will try my best to answer as many of them as possible. So, Jem, I've got a couple of minutes. Maybe you can tell me about your sort of experience of the pilot, and my sort of question that I had planned for you is more around your sort of top tips. But shall I give you a couple of minutes to start with your experience, and then we'll talk about top tips? How about that?
Yeah, so I think the pilot's been super useful. I've really enjoyed it. We get an e-commerce mentor. We get all sorts of support and webinars. It's also fantastic in terms of the ability to access marketing support and marketing budget to experiment with things. And that's been super useful to be able to work with a specialist, be put in touch with a specialist that UnLtd approve of, and also to be able to have a budget to spend with them to experiment, because and I was going to come on to this as a tip, but I think
what is your best tip, Jim?
What is my best tip? My best tip, I think, is I mentor also on this, and I also mentor on a couple of other schemes. And one of the things I come across a lot amongst social entrepreneurs, charities, is they're like, right, I'm going to do e-commerce, or so basically I'm going to set up a website on a shoestring budget, and then the sales are just going to kind of roll in. That's kind of like the big trap that I think people fall into, is that, and this is what I hear a lot, is I'm just going to post on Facebook and then or Instagram, and then the sales are just going to kind of roll in. And when you think about it, it's not actually that simple. And yeah, if it was that easy, then everybody would just be setting up shops and posting on Instagram, and the sales roll in. And I think one of the things that people don't realize is actually, so referencing what I was talking about before, having a really good website is expensive. And yeah, like Sue, when I started, I also didn't know really much about what I was doing. And so it's really helpful to have specialist marketers, to learn how to manage a Facebook ad or a Google ad is it's very complicated. It would take a long time to get your head around it, unless you're a specialist in that yourself already, which I think is probably unlikely. And so you actually do need some budget up front, A, to pay for a good website. I think that's really important. And B, to experiment with the marketing. And you basically need a budget to invest in if you want it to scale, if you want it to grow, right? If you want to keep it really small, a handful of sales a month, then you can do that definitely through a little bit of social. If you have a warm network on email or something, already have an email network, you can definitely do that. Or if you're supporting an existing bricks and mortar shop and you just want to have another outlet, again, that's, and that again can work. But if you're starting from scratch and you want this to be a meaningful income stream, you need to put aside a budget. You need to find a budget from somebody or somewhere to be able to run ads, to be able to pay for advertising, and to be able to build a really good website. And getting hold of that money isn't super straightforward, actually. Again, a great thing about the Selling Social pilot is actually, as I mentioned, you get a little bit of money to experiment with ads, because actually there's a lot of experimentation at the beginning. It's not just run a Google ad and the sales run in. There's a lot of testing that goes into that initially, and that can be expensive initially until you figured out what works. And so I really say that, you need to be able to find the money up front to pay for that, because the sales, will probably come in, but you need the cash first to pay for those things, and then the sales will hopefully come in later. And in order to find that money, the Odd Foundation may support it, Odd Charitable Foundation. I think it's quite hard to do, but really I think the best way of doing that is potentially through social investment, and that's a whole other topic for another day. But how you do need to really think about how you got that money up front to spend, and doing this on a shoestring and hoping that it's just going to the sales are going to roll in is it happens. The odd thing just goes viral, but they're like one in a million shops that do that. That would be my tip. I don't know what Sue's experience of budgets and spending money on ads. It sounds like you have a different model with the bricks and mortar.
So we'll certainly be exploring that with the Sue. But I think something really important there around, build it and they'll come as a way of thinking. A lot of people do come to us with, we've got that website, we've been selling, and when I ask the question, okay, what's your sales? Oh, we sell about 5 a month. Okay, great. And what are your next steps? And then when you really start getting into the details of it, that's when the strategy and the experiments need to work together.
Oh,
I think we've just frozen a bit.
I've lost my frozen. We'll see. Yeah, what's your experience of selling of budgets and marketing?
Yes, well, it's all new to me. So I've always relied on the pop-ups and going to different places and telling our story. So the digital marketing specialist I've got on board, I'm hoping is going to help me through that, and I've certainly got a budget set aside for that. But I think my top tip, I don't know if we're still live or whether we're just chatting to each other. It's just, I think when you're running your own business, there's so much that you have to hold in there's so many moving parts. And for me, this whole 4-month project made me step back and see, actually, why did I start this? What's the story and what I'm selling? And actually answering those questions helped me then form the redevelopment of the website. So I think my top tip will be allow yourself the time to step back and listen to as much advice as you can. Because I just continually asked so many questions. And what's lovely with UnLtd is if they don't necessarily know the answer, know somebody who does know the answer. Hi, Christy.
Oh.
Hello. Yeah, so obviously we're not going to compare, but I'm going to bring Laura in to step in whilst Ahmed's coming in a moment.
Hi everyone. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Can you hear me okay? Great. Cool. So yeah, hopefully we'll get off my back in a bit. So yeah, we've got some questions coming in from the kind of relevant for the two of you. So let's have a look. There's some that I can answer here, but we've got a question here from Sean. So how do you feel that the marketing helped sell your story? So Sean's saying that they haven't got a unique product, but for everything they sell, they do get donate to a family in need. So how do they compete with someone who kind of just sells the same product without without a kind of that social impact? I think that's a really good question, because that is the kind of USP. But how would you go about that? And I guess Sue, do you want to answer that first?
I think you've got something very unique, and I think you need to find somewhere on the website to put that, which is like our story, why we're different, and a kind of invitation to people that when they're buying from you, they're part of that story, they're part of the change, which is something I'm now challenged to do. Taking that thread that runs through every point of the journey on your website when you're buying something, that reminder that you're part of, for us, Promise in Store's journey by buying from us. So I think there's probably many different parts of the website that you could do that on. I mean, I'm just sort of, I've got parts of that on my website already, but I've been advised of other areas where you can sort of just dot that in. So the question, how do you feel the marketing helps sell your story? watch this space. I'm just beginning, so it's that was part of the pilot for me. But I think I've always had a story about us, and then found a story, which is the reason I set it up. Which I know when people go on, often people have said, it was really great to read because it makes it slightly more personal. So I think you've got a website that has an opportunity to tell your story. Jem, I don't know if you've probably got far more top tips than I have because you're a few years on from me.
So I think in answer to your question, I suppose indirectly, our marketing doesn't sell our story. Our website sells our story, but our marketing doesn't. So I think the challenge is, right, so with us, we sell bikes and the money goes to help pay. It's similar to the party packs thing. So if if the bikes sell, that pays for, so your average bike pays for 2 refugees to get cycling, right? 2 bikes for refugees, right? But nobody is Googling, how can I buy a bike to help a refugee get cycling, right? Or anything along those lines. People are looking for secondhand bikes, they're looking for bikes. But when they discover us, that's when you want to use the story to help convert them to your cause, as opposed to an Evans or another bike shop, basically. So I think for us, that's always been the trick, is we need to sort of think about how are people going to find us? What are people looking at? What are people looking for? Or where would people be looking that they'd find us, right? So I think, okay, sorry, the eBay for change support help you change your story. All right, well, I'll finish this point anyway. But yeah, I think that it's helpful to think about, okay, where can is it good? Are people searching on Google for party supplies? Could I compete with Google ads initially and build up a following through that? Could I build and then use that to build up a community? And would people refer? Do I have existing customers that can recommend me? And it's worth thinking about, where are people searching for those things? Where people might want to buy that going to look? Where are they going to be? What communities are they going to be in? How can I get to those people who are in the mood for wanting to buy something? And how can I then, when I've got their attention, use my story and use the narrative and the social impact to convert them, as opposed to going on any other website? So I think that's worth thinking about. For example, press is very helpful. Press stories, news stories, referrals. If you're selling party supplies, could someone refer you to another? Could you do a discount if someone refers you to someone else? Like referral codes are very powerful in that situation. So I think it's about building a community of people and reaching people who can help you sell your story. eBay for change support, for us, we're early on that process. I think, at the moment, it's in terms of the selling social support anyway, we've mostly focused on how we reach people. It's not so much on telling a story, but on what ads are going to be clicked on. So how can our product be competitive? And I think that's really important to remember as well. I think it's not enough you need a good story, but you also need a good product. You don't necessarily need the best product, but if you don't have a great product, don't assume that, and you don't have a great product at a price that is reasonable, don't assume that the story will compensate for that. I think that's been our experience anyway.
Thanks, Jem. And I know, Sue, that you some of the work that we've done through Selling Social has been about telling your story. And do you want to kind of talk through your plan around how you're engaging the new customers through the booklet that you're creating?
Yes. So I thought I had it with me because it's just come out from the printers. So basically, my mentor asked me, when somebody comes onto our website and sends a gift to somebody else and the person receives the gift, what is also sent with it? And normally we just had a little postcard with a paragraph of what we're about. But effectively they're saying, well, because they're receiving the gift, they haven't been on the website, so they don't know your story. So do you need more than that to just to have like a mini website on a booklet on four sides? So I've been working with somebody who works in communications and a graphic designer, and we've just put together a 4-sided sheet that has images of the people that we work with, images of the products, and then just a summary of what Promise in Store is all about. So when somebody receives a gift, they might open it and see the products, but they'll also have something that looks beautiful on top of it that says where it's come from. So that's been a real help, and I'm actually really excited because I got the proof from the printer yesterday. So I'm just doing a bit of an asking people who haven't been to the website what if they received it, what they think that would tell them. So I met with 3 people last night and just sort of put it in front of them and said, give me some feedback on this. And I'm sort of carrying it around with me at the moment until once I've got all the feedback, I can begin. But so far, it's been a really good response. So that's certainly how it's helped me in terms of marketing. And then hopefully that person will say, well, actually, I love what I'm seeing. It's not necessarily what I've got in my box because of the different images. So therefore, I'll go on the website. That's the hope anyway. Christmas is coming.
Thanks, Sue. I've got Ahmed back now, so I'll pass back over.
No, thank you, Laura. I mean, you're going to be staying with me because it's you and Chris next, and we'll be having a bit of discussion about what is the Selling Social. But first, I'd like to say, thank you to Sue and Jen for the time, and hopefully we'll be some more opportunities for more questions. But yeah, thank you for now. Let's stay on whilst I have a little chat with Laura and Chris about the Selling Social and the eBay Supplies program. So, hi, Matt. Hello, Chris. Welcome back.
Thanks, Ahmed. We're struggling to hear you slightly. I could just about hear.
Right. Hopefully, the mic will fix itself. So, Chris, what's really important to understand, and hopefully Laura will now join in that as well, is, the Selling Social is one part of the wider eBay Supplies, as you mentioned earlier, but why is this and the Selling Social part important to eBay? The real importance in your hopes from that.
Yeah, I think I covered some of it at the start, but there's sort of 2 things really. One, for us, Selling Social is about an investment into the sector and supporting social entrepreneurs that, might be slightly earlier stage. So that was the first thing, is for us about investing into the sector. But then in terms of why the program's structured in the way it is, I think Jem and Sue did a pretty good job of talking through that, but it was about how do we help people to explore? People are at the different stage of their journey on e-commerce. For some, they've pivoted completely during COVID, and for others, they were already on that journey a little bit and hoping to grow and expand a little bit more. And so the program is all about that, is helping people to explore. What does it mean for them? What does it mean for their impact model? If your impact model is based around a retail environment, what does it mean when you move on to e-commerce and those sorts of quite bespoke challenges to your specific business? So it's those 2 things really, is how do we help people to explore, as well as really investing into the sector.
Excellent. Can you hear me now better, right?
Much better.
Yes, I feel like I've come out from the deep sea. No, that's really excellent. And I think what I'd want to do with Laura, if you've got just to the behind the scenes, the kind of the why Selling Social could have such huge impact on social enterprises, and sort of how do we look at this as part of the recovery and the post-COVID world? What's your sort of take on that?
Sure. I mean, you've heard a lot from Sue and Jem about this, and I particularly think Sue's a great example of how she's kind of pivoted from her strategy of wanting to open up a store and sell a lot more in person to moving online, and I think that's a really great way for social entrepreneurs to adapt to the new environment and to kind of diversify their income streams and essentially be able to generate more social impact. So we've on Selling Social, both Jem and Sue have been on the pilot, and they spoke a lot about the pilot, and we're now kind of ready to launch after we've tested a few different ways of helping the social entrepreneurs. And as you say, we're we really kind of trying to tailor the support to what's needed, particularly around working with mentors to really understand what changes and what tests can be made to really grow their online sales in a significant way. So working with mentors is a kind of way to really help with that, and working with specialists to implement digital marketing campaigns, and really understand, how they can reach their customers and grow their sales to generate more income, be more sustainable.
Fantastic. Thanks for that, Laura. And for those who are really excited, who have been watching this and are going to watch this after, how can they access this amazing support offer? Because obviously, as the project lead, you have all the information that anybody would want to know about how to join this program, right?
Yeah, hopefully I should know everything. So the support is on Selling Social is available to Unlimited award winners. So if you are a current award winner, then excellent. Have a chat with your support manager or your contact at Unlimited to find out more about how you can kind of start your Selling Social journey. If you don't have an award from Unlimited yet, then you can apply for one. You can see our website there on the screen. So it's unlimited.org.uk/awards. On there is a list of our criteria and kind of the timelines for this. But that's the best way to access this. So the Selling Social is available for all Unlimited award winners, and we're particularly focusing on on the social enterprises that have a kind of model that works for selling online. So we know this won't be relevant for everyone, but that a lot of social enterprises do sell online. It's whilst you've heard a lot about eBay for Change today, and whilst we hope that a significant amount of the social entrepreneurs we work with could sell on eBay for Change, it's not a kind of prerequisite. We're working together, understand that it's not always the right marketplace for different business models, particularly if you're maybe selling a service online. So what we want to do is make sure that through the support, we're really looking at what are the best routes to market for you, what are the best platforms for you to use to reach your customers and grow your sales. If eBay for Change happens to be one of those routes, then we work closely together to help you on that journey.
Excellent. Thanks for that, Laura. And I think what's really important here to highlight is, as Chris sort of outlined in the beginning, it is a very ambitious program from eBay. It is something about step change that they want to see in using their sort of resources and their marketplace. I think for Unlimited as well, the ability to partner with eBay and to offer this and the access to some specialist support is really a unique proposition. And I think Jem mentioned something there around the testing, and that's a really unique model within this support, is that it allows you to test different elements of the online sort of marketing or the digital marketing. So I think that's really important. I want to also remind people to send in their questions in the chat, and we will be able to bring back everybody into a bit of a Q&A. Laura, in terms of the timelines for people to apply, the next deadlines, is they're in line with Unlimited's deadlines. So there'll be one at the end of this year, and then there'll be another one at the end of March. So it's really about encouraging people to apply and maybe have conversations with the team if they're really interested in the Selling Social element and just how that works. Am I right in saying that the door is open for people to reach out and ask questions about the eBay program, the wider program? Will hopefully direct them, but really around the Selling Social, that's what we can answer more questions about. Is that right?
Yeah, sure. So if you haven't got an award from Unlimited yet, then do have a look at the website. As you said, the kind of cycles are quarterly, so the next deadline is by the end of the year. If you have an award, we are kind of lining up roughly quarterly to kind of bring onboard new people onto the support. But there are bits of support that are available all year round. So if you have an award already, do you have a conversation with your UnLtd contact, and we'll try and get you some support as soon as we can.
Fantastic. Thanks for that, Laura. What I'd like to do is I'd like to bring everybody back on, and hopefully there'll be some questions that will start popping up on the screen for us all to go through. But really what I'm going to try to do, Sue and Jeremy, is to try to kind of direct some of the questions, but I'll also give opportunity for everybody else to chip in. So the first one was from Diversified. We have just been awarded from UnLtd. We already sell on eBay, but it's not our main marketplace. Is there support to be able to push forward with eBay as a marketplace as we utilize more? I guess that might be a Laura question to begin with, and then we can I'll open up the floor for others. Laura?
Sure. I'll start, and then Chris, you can you can join in the end if needed. Yeah, I mean, what I would, without knowing much about your business, but I think the approach that we would take through, speak to your contact UnLtd about selling social. I think what would be useful is to look at the different marketplaces that you do use, the different ways you do sell, and understand what's best for you and whether where you should be putting your resources. Hopefully, yeah, eBay is the marketplace that would work for you. If that fits really right, then we would help you kind of maybe test some ideas through eBay, through selling social, and then we could help you apply for eBay for Change if that's right for you. The next kind of applications for the eBay for Change program that Chris spoke through at the beginning are going to be in next year. So we'd be able to spend some time with you through UnLtd, through selling social, to really make sure that you're in the right position to be able to make the most of selling on eBay for Change, such as kind of making sure that you're in the right position with your logistics. How do you kind of up your production of your products, and how so that you can meet demand for a kind of a new kind of audience, having the right products for the categories that are on eBay, things like that. So that's what we can help you with through selling social. But then on eBay for Change, it's all about the real detail of how you do that, and helping you grow the sales through there.
Excellent. Thanks for that, Laura.
Just one thing
checking on
to
that. Yeah,
Laura, just to pick up on Sean's question, which is related, which that was perfect, Laura. But just to say, the timeline is recruitment will probably be back end of January or February, I think, and the next 50 have been allocated now, and people are sort of coming live on site in October. And also just in terms of what that support looks like, it's a mix of training. So how do you utilize the sort of tools within eBay? It can, like I said, it can be a bit of a beast to navigate. So there's a dedicated advisor that you work with for 3 or 4 months to help you to navigate eBay, 0 fees for 12 months at least. And then, some other support around fulfillment and things like that can be picked up in sort of separate conversations around that as well. So, yeah.
Fantastic. Thanks for that, Chris. Just waiting on the next question. So that's from Think Foundation. We used to sell on eBay, but then found it easier to sell on our own website. It is more cost effective to sell on our own website. I'm going to, with the eBay for Change push, it's worth getting back on eBay to sell, or is there a risk of being lost in all the other sellers? Okay, I'm going to bring that back to you, Chris. But first, I think I want to bring Jem on this, because that's an experience you have. You've already been selling on eBay, so yeah. How did you sort of make that? The opportunity. Why did you make that decision to get involved in it?
So yeah, I'm here. So yeah, the question is, how do you balance the two, whether it's better on eBay or whether to have your own site? So I think the answer to that question is you don't have to choose. We never chose one or the other, and you can have both. So I think it's worth trying. It's hard to say, okay, it depends on the business and the products, but it's hard to say, okay, eBay is definitely better, full stop, or your own website is definitely better, full stop. like across every business, every social enterprise, right? So, but I think having both works well. So we use Shopify, which is like the kind of bit like Wix or something. It's like the back end software for our website, and that syncs with eBay. So every time we add a product, all our inventory and it all syncs with eBay. So it's quite a seamless process to have it on both. You don't have to manage, and there are various other, if you don't use Shopify, there's various other sites that have the same kind of functionality. So there's no reason to pick one really. I mean, I trial both and see how you go, see what works best, and how best you can optimize for your products.
Thanks, Jim. I thought that would be a good question for you, given your experience. But thanks for the answer. Anybody else has anything to chip? I saw a few nods from you there, Chris, but I think Jim's answer was pretty good, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, nothing to add at all, really. The only thing, and I covered it in another response earlier, is committing the time to service both, and not just it's not just going to happen for you, and eBay's the same, and there's a level of time commitment that would be needed to service eBay, utilize the tools that are there, all that sort of stuff, and promoted listings and all that sort of stuff that comes with it. So the only thing I'd add.
Excellent. So we also got a thank you from Think Foundation that they are moving and seems to have they are taking your advice on there. So thanks both, Jem and Chris. So our next question is from Storymine. And hi, Laura. Looking in your awards section, I can't find the offer for selling social. The best part about that question is a smile face at the end, Laura. So over to you.
I can respond with a smile. Sorry if there's any kind of confusion there. So if you want to apply for an award, you apply in general in the same way that you kind of would for a general unlimited award. So it's not applying specifically for selling social. The support will be available once you are awarded the award. So there's not a particular way to apply for selling social. We are hoping to get more information about what the support that's on offer onto our website in the near future. Just nothing on there quite yet.
Yeah, I think it's worth mentioning that the selling social support is open to current unlimited award winners and future award winners. So if you're not yet an award winner, this is your real opportunity to apply and join the unlimited support program, the overall support program, of which the selling social is one of the elements, alongside the one-to-one support that I mentioned at the very beginning of this session, the wraparound support that we offer, and the additional sort of mentoring and coaching and legal and pro bono. And selling social is one of these prime, key pillars that we offer, and we will be offering over the next couple of years as well. So it's something, it's here to stay. It's a big part of our support offer going forward. As we know, post-COVID, selling online is not going to change. It's actually going to increase. So it's a real opportunity and a very important element of support from our side. I'm just wondering if there is another question in there, but thanks for that, Storywine. Really good question. And I think it's really good to clarify these. So thanks for that as well, Laura. I think we are almost at time. We are at 1 o'clock. I just want to say huge thank you to the panel. Huge thank you to you all for taking the time. A real invitation here to ask any questions through our channels, whether it's our Facebook, whether it's on our Twitter, and one of the team will get back to you and answer your questions. And if not, we'll find a way of communicating back. Sue, Jem, you are the stars of the show. You know that, right? This is what we're here to do. We're here to support you. We're here to enable you to make that real impact. I just want to say thank you to what you're doing, to the change that you're making in the world. And it's a real privilege for me and my colleagues at UnLtd to be supporting you. And I'm sure Chris will join us in saying that, what really makes this program special is you guys. So thanks, Sue and Jem, for what you're doing. And I really hope that you will be, using this platform to further your income streams and deliver the social impact. That's it from me and the team. And I hope to see you all again. And a good way of saying goodbye is to just clap, apparently, just sort of say, clapping to everybody. Thank you for all of your support, and I'll see you all again. Thanks. Bye.
Thanks all.